With YouTube, we are in the late stage of the usual humble tech startup story, right? Started in a garage, you know the shtick. YouTube is damn near the long format video monopoly at this point, with its tentacles reaching into all sorts of related video ventures. YouTube is a big business, ostensibly filled with several big business people. So why are they being silly?
Bug fixes, stability improvements, repairs to space-time continuum.
We fixed the tubes that bring you videos, and some bugs too. Fixed bugs, improved performance, drank way too much coffee.
The version history space that an app store provides is dedicated to communicating functional changes being made to an app. Yet these update messages have about as much sincerity as a Plague Inc. headline, yet are still attached to an update with very real changes. It seems like nonsense, but I think it makes sense with a little bit of perspective. Platforms these days are in the business of increasing retention, of keeping users on the app as long as possible. This often infringes on the agency of users, as influencing a user's activity often requires diminishing or hijacking that user's habits by things like removing or displacing tools, playing down user feedback, and substituting in algorithmic content whenever possible. The favorite child of any modern platform is the vertical scroll user interface, the final boss of algorithmic development, with everyone and their mother's goldfish putting one in their app. It tries to get as close as possible to 0% user choice and 100% algorithmic content, the primary navigational tool being nothing more than just telling it to play the next pre-prepared video. It's something of a black box to the user. Wikipedia describes a black box as a system which can be viewed in terms of its inputs and outputs without any knowledge of its internal workings. Most algorithmic content fits neatly into this definition, with users not needing any explanation of how an algorithm works, letting them just log in and turn off their brain while feeding in immense amount of data as a basic function of using the app, and then outputs being fed to users as slop without explanation. Examples of UI that aren't black boxes include something like a subscriber tab, which merely sorts by the most recent videos for a set of creators that you follow, or something like a Blue Sky feed, which may be an algorithm, but a transparent one. That is, you can see how it works. Platforms, like most software, have a front end and a back end. The front end is what a user sees and interacts with when using the app, and the back end is how it works, like the data storage and processing, often on a server. There is a set amount of how much you can see, how much you can understand about an algorithm or a black box before running headfirst into the black box, running into that wall. In 2025, the black box boundary, if you will, the BBB, is constantly encroaching on that front end as platforms continue to increase the measurement of and testing on their everyday users. Hiding the inner workings of the algorithm is what allows them to get away with monitoring the most minute human activity, turning every little impulse, every little human thought or pattern or habit into an active vehicle for profit. In short, the neoliberal wet dream. When you learn more about how your algorithm works, you consciously or subconsciously change some amount of your visible behavior in order to change the output of the algorithm to what you desire. But desired habits aren't good for business. A healthy thought-through watch of your favorite creator's video, followed by closing the app and getting on with your life, does not seem to be a preferred business model in 2025. This brings us back to the silly version history log. The YouTube team cannot bring themselves to betray their algorithm gods by telling casual users about what pressing that update button will do, but they still have to fill the text box, giving them the perfect micro-platform to distract the public from the mischief that has just happened under their very own eyes. There's nothing left but an absurdist, patronizing promise of care of these little benevolent tinkerers best left to their work without any time for questions. They are so busy with all of the nonsense that's happening over at the YouTube headquarters. The silly YouTube version history log is not some quirky in-joke between a small-time developer and a faithful audience. but rather a routine distraction every single month for the modern platform's grand project of completely dismantling the agency that they made the mistake of giving to their users.